The Walking Dead is a TV show produced by AMC. It boomed in popularity in 2010.
I'm shocked that it's one of the biggest things at Comic-Con.
And kickstarted the zombie craze and how most of us think of zombies. Over the years, it seems that The Walking Dead has been deemed bad, all out of ideas, and lower viewerships each premiere. Well, I plan on making a video on each season and figuring out what exactly happened over the course of the seasons. These videos will be longer than usual and more detail-oriented than usual. This has been a topic that has interested me for a while now, and having watched The Walking Dead since Season 3, this is a topic I'm very passionate about. The Walking Dead Season 1 is directed by Frank Darabont, who directed Shawshank, Green Mile, and The Mist. The story is adapted from the comic by Robert Kirkman. Season 1 overall feels like it has the most production value. Despite being a TV show, very much has a movie feel to it, mainly due to the lighting and makeup, and the makeup and effects in the show are extremely impressive. The music choice as well was handled very maturely, with the opening scene being mainly ambient noises, and even when the zombie girl turns around, there's no music cue. Although this scene kind of breaks the logic on how the zombies in the show work, but let's not talk about that right now. We're introduced to Shane in a flashback before the outbreak. Rick ends up going to the hospital and wakes up there to come to the startling conclusion that the world is taken over. It's a really cool concept, but kind of just avoids logic. Where has he been pissing and shitting? He also seems to be walking fine. Again in the scene, the environmental noises really add to the reality of what's happening. We meet Morgan and his son Dwight, who basically fill Rick and the viewer in on what's happening.
Think fast, chuckle nuts!
Rick then takes him to the police station to get guns. Morgan decides to stay back instead of going with Rick, so they can kill his zombie wife. We're then shown a group of survivors. Lori and Carl, Rick's wife and son, are shown to be alive. Rick goes into the city when... How did this happen? Shouldn't there have been a few spread out? Not just an inconvenient wall full of them? Overall, a great way to start off the show. Lori is hooking up with Shane, Rick's best friend before the apocalypse. Now, I know a lot of people hate Lori, and I didn't like her either in the later seasons, but in the very first scene of the show with these two on screen, it's clear Shane is manipulating Lori. She's going through a lot, and Shane's taking advantage of that. Even regardless of zombie apocalypse, thinking you lost your husband, and only having 50 days to grieve all that between literally the end of the world. Rick gets help by Glenn, and is able to escape the tank he got stuck in. Because Rick shot off a bunch of rounds earlier, now all the zombies are surrounding the area. We meet Merle Dixon, who's racist and then gets handcuffed to the roof by Rick. They then decide that since zombies have a strong sense of smell, they can blend in by putting zombie guts on themselves. But when it rains, the smell of the zombie guts wear off. I never really understood this, because wouldn't you just smell like a wet zombie instead? If the zombies attacked each other when it rained, at least then it would make sense, but I don't get it. They end up escaping in a car, but T-Dog drops the key to Merle's handcuffs and leaves them behind. He's racist, so it's not really lost. Glenn stupidly brings a car that they stole into camp that's echoing constantly from the car alarm. You'd think they would have discussed a pickup point for Glenn so the car didn't follow. I know they justify it with,
I think we're okay.
You call being stupid okay?
Well, that alarm was echoing all over these hills. Hard to pinpoint the source.
but even still, why jeopardize it? Not much of note happens in episode 3, it's just more character building, which is a great idea considering all the action in the last 2 episodes.
But Robert had done something that was going to be an expanded saga following a group of people, very character-driven stuff, which is the stuff I dig the most. It's sort of right up my alley. And but it's a very, very character-based thing, and that's what Robert did that really turned me on.
We're introduced to Daryl, everyone's favorite. Rick, feeling bad for how he left Merle, decides to save him with the help of Daryl, Glenn, and T-Dog. Lori sets boundaries against Shane since Rick is alive. The scene where Ed starts beating Carol and Shane steps in was really good character building. When Ed hits Carol and Shane beats Ed in return, it shows how violent Shane can get. Shane didn't step in because Ed was hitting Carol, but so he could take his anger out on someone. When Daryl was swinging the knife around at Rick, he wasn't hurting Daryl nearly as bad.
See, I'm the kind of man gun down his own best friend. What'd you think I'd do to some guy that I don't even like?
At the end of the episode, it's revealed that Merle cut off his hand to escape getting eaten by zombies. But where did the zombies on the stairs go? It's not like they would think, door's locked, can't get him. Wouldn't they just be grasping at the door constantly? Even when Merle left, they wouldn't think we can cut him off in the alleyway. This episode, similar to episode 3, is very much focused on character building, which I agree is a good decision. But unlike what I mentioned before, it's less subtle. Hey Dale, you know my sister. I love her so much, it's her birthday today. You know what would be really crazy? Like, I don't even know why I'm bringing this up, but you'll laugh because this joke is really funny. But like, wouldn't it be really funny if my sister died? I know, crazy, right? That could never happen. I mean, that's just crazy talk. She's such an important character and I love her so much. And I want to spend so much time with her. No! Obviously, it's better for someone to die when they have some sort of personality, but even then, it's so forced to the point of it being blatantly obvious what will happen. And even still, with the personality they did set up, I only remember Amy as Andrea's dead sister. There's a subplot of this group of people that kidnapped Glenn, and while there isn't really much to it, I just thought the concept was cool. In the later seasons, we meet a group of good people who then turn out to be evil. But it's inverse here, where we think it's bad people that are done good. This never really happens again in the show, so this moment's just kind of cute. Most of this episode is dealing with the fallout of the climax in episode 4. Overall, it was good. Andrea and Dale have a nice scene, they make their way to the CDC, and some dude lets them in. Hopefully he's sane and not losing it from being isolated for 50 days. Episode 6 starts in a flashback with Shane at the hospital with Rick, where it's revealed he tried to save Rick. They all get drunk, and then in the morning the power is running out, and so because Dr. Jenner sucks at his job, he decides to kill himself and blow up everyone in the building. With the use of that one guy that sucked as a soldier and died in the tank, they were able to escape the CDC. I hope you're not watching the show for the special effects, because this is awful. They drive away and the season ends. Overall, The Walking Dead Season 1 is a pretty solid start to the series. With great acting, makeup, effects, and genuinely interesting setups, it has the making for a great second season. And fun fact, before I made this video, I never saw Seasons 1 and 2. So, based on what Season 1 did, I'm really excited for Season 2.
No! No!